morning. I was at home this past Tuesday evening working on a bathroom remodel project that we're currently in the middle of when the phone rang. It was Alex Morales. He was asking me whether I would be willing to come to church today and talk to you all about stewardship. I thought about the bathroom project that I was in the middle of. I thought about my upcoming business trip to Alabama. I thought about the Sierra Service Project slideshow that I had spent far too little time on, but it is to be shown later tonight at the dinner. I thought about standing up here as I am now and talking about this in front of all of you. Even after thinking about all of those things, I still said yes. I said yes because stewardship is something that is important enough to me that it was worth the time it would take to think about what to say and then to write it down so that I wouldn't forget it or miss something important. I know that typically this time of year there's a parade of folks that come up here and talk about the great works of the church, how much money it takes to do those great things, and then ask each of us to dig a little deeper and commit to tithe or offer as much as we can. That isn't the kind of stewardship that I'm here to talk with you about today. The kind of stewardship that I'm going to talk about is more like Kathy Sotero's commitment to feed the hungry on an ongoing basis, or the commitment to provide holiday gifts as a part of Pass the Hat, or the commitment to bring comfort to other marginalized members of our society. The stewardship that I'm here to talk about is the stewardship of the Sierra Service Project, otherwise known as SSP. If you have been in this church for any amount of time, you have an idea of what SSP is all about. And there's a thank you dinner tonight for the donors and sponsors, and the cycle starts all over again. I guess on the surface that is SSP, but for me, SSP is much more than that. Enough on that for now. First, let me tell you how I got involved with SSP. About 5 years ago, my oldest daughter, Kelsey, came to her mom and me and said that she wanted to go to SSP. Her friends, Janet and Sam, were going, and she really wanted to go. Well, we really didn't know much about what SSP was, but we knew that Ed Hume and Dave Little were going. In addition, we usually send Kelsey away to a church-related summer camp each year for a week. Bucket and I talked about it, and it wasn't going to be that expensive, so why not? We wrote the check, filled out the paperwork, and off she went. What we didn't expect is that a week later, the Kelsey that came back was not the same Kelsey that we had sent away. Somehow, the Kelsey that came back didn't care so much about the things that she had had. The Kelsey that came back had grown in ways that are hard to describe. Not that she was holier than she had been, she was just different. She told us of the people she had met, of the work that she did, of the fun that she had, and of the people that they had helped. People, some of which barely had a roof over their heads. She came back different. Well, time came for planning the next year's SSP trip. Kelsey was definitely going, and she asked me to go as one of the counselors. I agreed to go. What better way would there be to spend a week with my daughter? I went for that first time for that reason. I have gone since then for other reasons. Yes, it's nice to have that week with my daughter, and now it's with Hannah. But before I go into the reasons why I go, let me first tell you some of the reasons why I wouldn't go. It's not for the 15 or 20-hour drive each way with a bunch of you in a rental van listening to anything from rap to alternative rock at decibel levels exceeding healthy limits. It's not for sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag for 8 nights. It's not for eating food prepared by untrained 20-year-old cooks, cafeteria style, then washing my own dishes, cleaning bathrooms, mopping kitchens, or picking up trash. It's not for communal showers with my fellow adult men counselors, or eating peanut butter and jelly lunches for 5 days in a row. It's not for paying for my child and me to go, then taking a week off from work, a week of vacation that I don't get to spend with the rest of my family, and spending that time instead working in the hot sun with barely adequate tools and inexperienced labor to build things for other people. I could go on, but those are not the reasons that I go to SSP. I go for the chance to spend time with our youth, with your youth, to make friends with them, to be more than just their parents' friend. I go to see the expression on a young person's face when they pick up a tool that they have never used before and use it successfully for the first time, or to see how they feel when they see those in our society that have so much less than they do and yet seem so happy. I go because it feels good to do a hard day's work in the hot sun for someone that I will likely never see again, and then lie down on perhaps the world's most comfortable bed, that sleeping bag on the floor, for a refreshing night's sleep. I go to see that change that I first saw in Kelsey some 5 years ago take place in other youths, seemingly miraculously in front of my eyes, a change that is both subtle and profound. I go to witness the young local who jumps in to help, whose previous experience with outsiders may not have been so positive, whose life and perceptions may be changed forever by this opportunity to join in. I go to experience the 60-something-year-old woman with no legs, confined to a wheelchair, the one who lives in a house with a leaky roof, who still finds it possible to spend time talking with us, people that she doesn't know, and then makes us the most delicious Indian fry bread that you can ever imagine. I do it for the sunrises and sunsets in places that are both beautiful and desolate. I do it for the smiles of the youth when they see an adult having just as much fun as they are having while singing, dancing for the mail, or just hanging out. I do it for the SSP staff, wanting them to feel as rejuvenated physically, mentally, and spiritually at the end of our week as we all do. I do it for the woman who stops on her way out of her house as she gets in her car to go to work and says with tears in her eyes, "I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come along to fix my roof. I guess that I would have had to buy another tarp." I do it for all those reasons, but most of all I do it because I'm called to do it. It started as a way to spend a week with my daughter. Well, it turns out that week is so busy that I spend more time with my daughters at home than I do at SSP. Now I do it because it's something that I believe God is calling me to do. It is my stewardship.